Hello beautiful people, so today we are going to be learning how to make this boo gown with the half length joined with Asooke. So this is how it's looking in the picture. So first thing first, the normal simple gown, you're just going to be joining the half length with Asooke. So you fold your fabric into two, just the same way you cut your boo gown. You fold it into two, take the biggest part of the body, which is the hip, divide that by 4, then add 3 or 4 inches sewing allowance. That will be what you use to fold your fabric into two, just as you can see me doing in the video. So first thing first, I have to take my shoulder to shoulder. So my shoulder to shoulder for this client is 16 inches divided by 2 is going to give me 8. So this is just a basic gown. A basic gown. It doesn't have a cut together sleeve. The sleeve will be attached to it. In this case, the sleeve I'll be using Asooke for it. For the sleeve, then the upper part will be Asooke. So that's just it. So you're going to cut like a basic, you're going to make like a basic gown. So for the width of the neck, I use 4 inches because clients want it very wide. Then the depth, I use 6 inches. She wanted a round neckline. So I use 6 inches for the depth of the front. So remember, this is the front. I'm cutting the back and the front separate. So this is the front that I'm cutting. So I'm going to make like a square shape, just the same way you cut your front, but there is different shape of neck. So I'm just going to mark like so, and then use my free hand to create like a curve to give it that C shape for the neck. That's for the neck. So sorry guys that is not too visible because the fabric is white, but if you know how to cut a normal basic bodies, you understand what I'm doing. This class is not for beginners. So from that shoulder to shoulder that I divided into two, I'll go down by 1.5 inches. This is for the shoulder slant. Then I'll connect it to my neck point, just as you can see me doing. Then from that point I went down by 1.5 inches. I'll go down by 8 inches, which is my armhole. I'm trying to create my armhole. So either you divide your armhole by 2, your round bicep by 2, and add 1.5 inches, or you use your shoulder to shoulder. In this case, I use my shoulder to shoulder, which I got 8. I'm just going to connect to my ruler like so. Then I found the midpoints of this 8 divided by 2 is going to give me 4. So that will be my midpoint for my armhole, and that's where I'm going to go in by ½ inches to create my armhole curve. So you can see this is the midpoint, 4 inches, and I went inward by ½ inches. So to perfectly create my armhole curve, I'll divide my chest by 4, then add my sewing allowance. So in this case, the round chest for this customer is 44 divided by 4 is going to give me then I'm going to add that figure, then I add 3 inches sewing allowance to it. Then I'll mark that on the fabric like so. Then I'm going to connect. So you can see I've created my armhole curve. So I'm going to be using my ruler, or you can use your free hand. So I'll first of all connect the straight line to meet the chest measurement, and I'll go upward by 1 inches. So this will guide me to create my armhole, and I'm going to connect it to the ½ inches mark. I went inwards, just as you can see me doing, just create my armhole, and I'll connect it to the upper part of the armhole, just like so. So I've created my armhole curve. So I'm not going to mark it like so, and then roll it straight down. Now to attach the Asooke to it, depending on how you want it to be. In this case, from the shoulder to the half length is going to be 15 inches. That is where I'm going to attach the the Asooke. So I'm just going to mark like so. So this is where I'm going to cut off. So I'll cut off my neck, then I'll cut the shoulder slant, then the armhole, then I'll cut it straight before I'll now cut out the half length. So from the shoulder to the half length is 15 inches. I'm just going to mark it like so. Now it's supposed to cut the back. So cut the back, you fold your fabric into 2, just as you can see me doing. The same way you do your basic bodies. If this is not clear enough, I'll leave a link in the description box, so you go and watch how to create the basic bodies. It's the same thing you do here. The only difference is you're going to cut out your half length and add your Asooke to it. So for my shoulder to shoulder, I'll do the same thing I did for the front divide my shoulder to shoulder by 2, go downward by 1.5, mark my armhole. Do the same thing I did for the back. For the front is what I'm going to do for the back. So the only difference between the back and the front is 1, the neckline, 2, the armhole. The armhole point, you don't need to go inward by ½ inch. It's going to be straight. That's the difference between the back and the front. So from the shoulder down to the half length, it's going to be the same thing with the front. So the ½ inches, the half length of the front, I brought it back to the back. I place it on top so I can follow the same thing and cut the same thing I did for the back, for the front. So I place the front borders on top of the back, just as you can see me doing. The neckline for the neckline and the neck depth for the back will not be the same thing with the front, remember, but the neck width will be the same. The neck depth for the back, I used 2.5 inches. So this is the Asooke. I'm just going to be cutting it like so. Then I'll take it to the sewing machine and join them together before I place it back, before I place back the basic body sewings and trace. So I'm going to be, I cut 3 straps of Asooke, then I join them together with my sewing machine. There are different methods you can use to join your Asooke. So either you use a soldering iron to trace this so that the Asooke does not start coming off, or you use a hot scissors. So in this case, I use a hot scissors, then I weaved it so that it will be looking more neater. So this is the front. I'm going to be placing the right side facing each other, just as you can see me doing in the video. I'll place it like so at the front part. I'll use my pin to hold it down, then take it to the sewing machine and join this part together. I'm just going to join like so. For the neck, for the front, I'll use a bias to close up that part so that it will look neat, because it's looking rough now. So I'll be using a bias, a green color bias, to clean up that part. So after sewing, this is how it's going to be, as you can see. So this is for the back. I'll do the same thing for the back. This is how it's going to be. So I'll be using my bias to clean up that, to cover the neck point so that it will be looking neater. I'll cover it round. Then for the armhole, I'll join the back and the front together, just as you can see me doing. So after joining, after using a bias to clean up the neckline, you can see this is how it's looking. It's looking neat and well presentable. So for the armhole side, the sleeve will be covering that rough side of the armhole, because I'm going to be using Asooke to do that. So after joining the shoulder points like so, I'll first of all use my pin to hold this down so that I can take the round measurement of my armhole. After taking the round measurement of my armhole, then I'm going to cut the sleeve. I'll cut the sleeve using the Asooke fabric. So I'm just going to hold it like so. I'll take it to the sewing machine and sew that shoulder point together. I'll join the shoulder point together, then take my round armhole measurements. I'll take the round armhole measurements. So this will be used to cut out the armhole, the sleeve for the armhole. So I'm going to take my measurement like so, and next is for us to cut the sleeve. So after cutting the sleeve, I'll join it to the gown. So it's just like a basic gown, nothing much to do. So the next tutorial will be on how to make the Zara cap, sorry. So I will show you a detailed tutorial on how the Zara cap was made in the next video. And this is the Zara cap. So part 2 video will be showed in the next video, guys. So please like and subscribe to my channel. God bless you guys. See you in our next video, which is how to make the Zara cap. Bye.